So here's the thing that nobody's talking about. Nara Smith just had her fourth baby, and the internet is absolutely losing it, but not for the reasons you think. And honestly, I need to tell you why this whole situation is way more interesting than people realize. Because what she's doing with baby names is actually genius or completely wild, depending on how you look at it. Let me explain. Nara Smith, the influencer who basically makes everything from scratch, including her own toothpaste, just welcomed baby number 4 with her husband, Lucky Blue Smith. And before you ask, yes, their names are actually Nara and Lucky, which already tells you everything you need to know about this family's vibe. But here's where it gets good. They posted this adorable video on Instagram October 11th, showing them cuddling their newborn daughter. Caption reads, "She's here. Welcome to the world, little angel." Super sweet, right? Except they're not telling us the baby's name yet, and that's driving everyone crazy. Now, you're probably wondering, why would they hide the name? And trust me, the answer is going to blow your mind. Because when you look at their other kids' names, suddenly everything makes sense in the most chaotic way possible. Their 5-year-old daughter is named Rumble Honey. Let that sink in for a second. Rumble Honey Smith. And honestly, I kind of love it because it sounds like a superhero origin story. Then they've got 3-year-old Slim Easy, which sounds like either a jazz musician or a really confident guy at a barbecue. And their 1-year-old is Whimsy Lou, which actually might be the most normal one, if you can believe that. Oh, and Lucky has a 7-year-old daughter named Gravity Blue from his previous relationship with former beauty queen Stormy Henley. And yes, her name is actually Stormy. So clearly this whole unique name thing runs deep in this family tree. But here's what makes this absolutely fascinating and why you need to keep watching, because Nara actually gave us hints about what she wasn't going to name the baby, and these rejected names are absolutely wild. She made a whole video talking about girl names she loved but wouldn't be using for baby number 4, and I'm telling you, this list is something else. First up, she said she loves the name Twinkle, as in Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, and part of me respects the commitment to whimsy, but also, can you imagine being a 40-year-old accountant named Twinkle trying to get taken seriously in a business meeting? Then she mentioned Velvet Button, and okay, I actually think Velvet is kind of cool, very old Hollywood vibes, but Button as a name feels like something you'd call a pet bunny, not a human child who's going to have to fill out job applications someday. She also threw out Willow Mirror, which she described as feeling more classic. And I'm sitting here thinking, Willow, yes, absolutely classic and beautiful, but mirror, where did mirror come from? Is the baby supposed to reflect your true self? Is this some deep philosophical statement? I have so many questions. Now here's where it gets even better, and you're going to want to hear this, because the next name she mentioned is actually pretty famous. She said she loves the name Apple, but won't be using it because it's been used before, and obviously she's talking about Gwyneth Paltrow's daughter Apple Martin. So at least Nara has some boundaries and won't straight up copy another celebrity's kid's name, which honestly is more restraint than I expected given everything else. But wait, there's more, because she also said she loves the name Berry, spelled B-E-R-R-Y, not like the fruit exactly, but close enough, and I actually don't hate this one. It's cute, it's short, it's got that nature vibe that seems to be their whole thing. Then she dropped a bombshell and said another name she loves that Lucky absolutely does not like at all is Butter. Yes, you heard me right, butter, as in what you put on toast, and apparently Lucky shut that down so fast it didn't even make their consideration list. Honestly, I'm kind of with Lucky on this one because imagine introducing yourself as Buttersmith, though I will say it does have a certain charm in like a really bizarre way that actually fits their aesthetic perfectly. She rounded out the list with Merit and Shimmer, which she said could work as either first or middle names, and Merit actually feels surprisingly normal, like it's a real word with meaning and dignity attached to it, while Shimmer is giving me fairy princess energy, which tracks completely with names like Whimsy and Rumble. And then Nara said something really interesting that I think explains so much about what's happening here. She said it's getting harder to name children for her, and honestly that makes total sense because once you've used Rumble Honey, Slim Easy, and Whimsy Lou, where do you even go from there? Now here's what I find genuinely fascinating about this whole thing and why I think there's actually something deeper going on that people aren't picking up on. Nara and Lucky aren't just throwing random words together and calling them names. There's actually a pattern here if you look closely. Every single one of their kids' names has this dreamy, whimsical quality that feels like it came straight out of a storybook or a folk song. And I think that's completely intentional because their whole brand is this aesthetic of making everything from scratch, living this almost fairy tale-like existence where Nara makes homemade cereal and gourmet meals in ball gowns. Their kids' names are an extension of that carefully crafted world they're building. And honestly, whether you think it's brilliant or bonkers, you have to admit it's consistent. But let me tell you why this matters more than just celebrity baby name gossip, because there's actually a whole conversation happening right now about unique names and how they affect kids. Some people argue that giving your child a super unique name is a gift because it makes them stand out and gives them individuality from day one, while others say it's setting them up for a lifetime of spelling their name at Starbucks and dealing with judgment from people who think normal names are somehow more respectable. And I genuinely don't know where I fall on this because part of me thinks Rumble Honey Smith is going to be the coolest kid at school with the most memorable name anyone's ever heard, but another part of me wonders if she'll grow up wishing her parents had just named her Sarah. The thing is, though, Nara and Lucky are raising these kids in a completely different world than most of us live in. They're influencer royalty with millions of followers. Their kids are growing up in this bubble where unique is normal and ordinary is boring. So maybe names like Slim Easy and Whimsy Lou actually make perfect sense in their context. And here's something else that's kind of wild to think about. Lucky Blue Smith already had experience with unique naming because his daughter Gravity Blue is 7 years old now, so he's seen firsthand how a kid with an unusual name navigates the world, and apparently he liked it enough to keep the tradition going with Nara. His ex, Stormy Henley, clearly was on board with the whole unique name thing too, so this isn't even new territory for him. This is just who he is as a person and a parent. Now, back to this mystery baby name that they're keeping secret. And this is where things get really interesting because the internet is already going absolutely crazy trying to guess what they named her. Some people are throwing out suggestions that fit the pattern like Meadow Rain or Clover Moon. Others are joking that they probably went with something like Spatula Dreams or Artesian Bread. And honestly, both feel equally plausible at this point. But I think there's a reason they're waiting to announce the name. And it's probably because they know the moment they reveal it, everyone's going to have opinions. There will be think pieces written. Parenting blogs will debate whether they've gone too far. And they're probably just enjoying these first few days with their daughter before the inevitable chaos hits. And can I just say, I actually respect that decision because bringing a new baby into the world is already overwhelming without millions of people commenting on your naming choices. The announcement video they posted was actually really sweet and intimate, just them cuddling their newborn daughter, and you could see the genuine happiness on their faces. Say what you want about their naming conventions, but you can tell these are parents who absolutely adore their kids and are excited to welcome another little person into their family. Nara went through the whole pregnancy sharing updates with her followers. They announced back in June that they were expanding the family, and now here we are in October with baby number 4 finally here. That's 4 kids under 5 years old for Nara, plus Lucky's older daughter, so they've got a full house, and it's only getting fuller. I cannot even imagine the chaos of managing 5 kids with names like Rumble Honey, Slim Easy, Whimsy Lou, Gravity Blue, and Mystery Baby number 4, but somehow they make it look effortless in their perfectly curated Instagram posts. Now, here's my actual take on this whole situation, and I'm going to be honest with you, I think what Nara and Lucky are doing is kind of brave in a weird way. They're completely committing to their aesthetic and their vision for their family without worrying about whether people think they're being too extra or too different. And in a world where everyone's so concerned about fitting in and following the rules, there's something refreshing about people who just fully embrace their weirdness. Are these names I would personally choose? Absolutely not. I'm more of a classic name person myself, but do I admire the confidence it takes to name your kid Rumble Honey and then just own it completely? 100% yes. And the reality is these kids are probably going to grow up thinking their names are totally normal because that's their reality. They're surrounded by other influencer kids with equally unique names, and by the time they're adults, unique names will probably be so common that having a traditional name will actually be the unusual choice. The world is changing and naming conventions are changing with it, so maybe Nara and Lucky are actually ahead of the curve instead of just being weird. What I really want to know, though, is what they ended up naming this baby, because the suspense is absolutely killing me, and I know I'm not alone in this. Did they go with one of the names from Nara's list that Lucky approved of? Did they come up with something completely new that's even more out there than anything we've ever heard before? Or did they surprise everyone and go with something relatively normal? And honestly, that last option would be the biggest plot twist of all. Imagine after Rumble Honey, Slim Easy, and Whimsy Lou, they just named this baby Emma or something. The internet would absolutely implode. But I'm guessing they stayed true to form and picked something that fits right in with their other kids' names. Probably something nature-inspired or whimsical sounding that makes you tilt your head and go, huh, interesting choice. Whatever the name is, I'm sure it's going to spark conversations and debates and probably some eye-rolling from people who don't understand their vibe. But at the end of the day, it's their baby and their choice, and honestly, we're all just here for the entertainment value of finding out what wild name they came up with this time. So congratulations to Nara and Lucky on baby number 4. Welcome to the world, little mystery baby with the secret name, and I guess we'll all just have to wait and see what these two decided to call their newest addition to the Rumble Honey Slim Easy Whimsy Lou collection of absolutely unforgettable names.